Hi, we're going to be working on another Start Right Reader. It might be one that you've read already on the Into Reading program that's on Clever. Okay, it's going to be this one. Nat and Mac. Okay, so you're going to try to read along with me. I'll read the sentence and then you read it. Okay, because we need to get some good reading practice. And if it's one that you already did on Into Reading, then you should be super duper great and ready. So let's take a look in the book.
Let's take a look at a Start Right Reader. Mac is a baker and Nat needs a loaf of bread. How might a baker help Nat? And let's look up here for character names. Mac, Mac, Nat, Mac, Nat. We're going to be noticing that some words need an ending of an S. So that's sit plus a letter S at the end would make it be sits. Look at that. It's almost like we've been learning in math equations. This is with words. Sit plus S equals sits. So in this sentence we have Dad and Mac sit. But if our sentence was just about Dad, we would say Dad sits. And here's some words you should know. What's that one? Me. How about that one? Sits. And this one? With. Let's say them again. Me. Sits. With. So let's take a look at the story. The title is up there. Nat and Mac. Then we have the author and the illustrator by Joe Wakaba, illustrated by Andy Elkerton. Now the picture also gives us a clue to help us when we're going to read the sentences. Do you remember who the characters were? Let me go back over here. Mac, the baker, and Nat. So here we have, remember, Mac is the baker, and there's Nat. Okay, let me read it, and then you read it. Mac, Mac, can you see me? Now you read it. I'll read it and then you read it. Nat, sit with me. So that means Mac is talking. He's talking to Nat and he's telling him, Nat, sit with me. Nat sits with Mac. Now you read that. Mac rips it. Mac dips it in. Now let's read this whole page. Read with me. Nat sits with Mac. Mac rips it. Mac dips it in. Mac pats it. You read. Mac fits it in a pan. Now let's read the whole page together. Mac pats it. Mac fits it in a pan. Mac tips it in. Mac, you did it! Okay, let's read these words. I'll point to them. You read them. See. You. Can. It. Did. In. These are words that you should be able to read without having to sound them out. These are words that you should not have to stop and say the sounds for them. Like if you get to this word, you shouldn't have to do d, I, d. This is one you should recognize right away. So the more you practice, the more you'll be able to do that. Certainly sounding out words is important and it's a great strategy. But these are what we call sight words. Words that when you see them, you just know them without having to sound it out. See. You. Can. It. Did. In. Now we're going to find pictures of these actions in the story. Here we have some words that we will sound out. So let's see, these are action words. Maybe you know it without sounding it out, but I'm going to sound them out. P. At. Oh, I see it's at in there. At with an S at the end. Ats. P. Ats. Pats. So what's the word? Pats. So like when you pat something, pat it with your hand. Let's see this one. Ips. Rips. Rips. Let's try sounding out this one. It's. Fits. Fits. And this one. Ip. Tips. Tips. You see, these all had the S at the end. And almost all of these words had a short I. I. And this had a. So we need to look back in the story for the action of pat, pats, rips, fits, and tips. Okay, let's try to remember that. Let's go back to this beginning of the story. I don't think I see any of those actions there. Nope, not there either. How about here? Can you see the one? Look, there's rips. Mac rips it. So which picture is showing rips something? Yeah, right? Rips. Good. Oh, there's pats. And there he is, right? Patting it with his hands. Pats. Oh, and then when he puts it in, fits it in. Fits it. And there it is, tips. He's tipping it into the oven. Tips. So did we find all of them? Pats, rips, fits, and tips. Yeah, great work. Terrific. Terrific job. Remember the Start Right readers you can access on Into Reading.